be winning the NBA championship. So ultimately, if you do your job as an A player, more times than not, you're going to win. More times than not, you're going to win the NBA championship. I think so. I'm not on the fence about that. I think more times than not, if you are the A player, you're going to win the NBA championship. So, but I'm interested to hear the I'm interested to hear the logic. So, what up?
What's going on, man?
What up?
What's going on? What you done came up on some new money? You all over the place. What you done did? You done got you got soccer, you got hockey, you got baseball, you got everything. I'm like, yo, hold up. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, yo, this fool going on again. I'm scrolling down on my phone. I'm like, yeah, he must have got some new money or something, man. Like that good old retirement money came in. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
What I told you, Lee. I told you that I got a new connect.
You was about to sew the blocks up, man. I
was basically just on one block, and I got a new connect. And now I poked my head around the corner, and I noticed that nobody was over here. Nobody was over there.
Yo, yeah, they must have got locked up. Yo.
All right, so I'll take over this block. I'll take over this block too. Y'all ain't nobody doing nothing over here. So all right.
Shout out to you. I actually but to your questions about I guess supposed finals winners and losers or champs and runner-ups, I guess. There was I think we all could agree the 2004 Pistons in terms of not having an A player was probably the only anomaly. You make or argue the 2014 Spurs, you make or argue the 2015 Warriors, because a lot of the players on them teams didn't come into their apex as A players in the league. But as far as on the teams, obviously, but as far as in the league, that's a different story. However, particularly with the Boston Celtics, I feel like it's a running rhetoric every time I come up here. But particularly with the Boston Celtics, I felt like they went all in on talent this year. Much more talented team than last year. Obviously, in the group that they had with Smart and Williams and the boys, man. Obviously, Porzingis is more talented. You got a backcourt that includes two, not one, but two All NBA defenders, All NBA defensive players in Drew Holiday and Derek White, and then you got Jason Tatum playing better defense. Of course, JB could be an all-league defender at any given point. So, they went all in on talent. The problem that I have with them is this. It's a lot of games where I see they don't execute and they just fall completely on talent and they lean completely on talent. I always come back to this.
Is that a bad thing? Because at some point I can only X and O you for a certain amount of time. I don't see the execution not being there. But at some point, I mean, I can't keep drawing up X's and O's. I mean, at some point, I need you to make a play.
We spoke on that. We spoke on that. You said that, and I agree with that. But at the same time, the thing is, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown haven't proven that they are definitively them two. When it comes down to them two versus like another two best, they haven't proven that they are definitively better than the rest of the competition. And that's what I believe an NBA champion is. When you are proven that, my number one and my number two is better than your number one and your number two. That's what Joker and Jamal Murray did last year. You saw what they did to the Lakers.
You got to prove it. You do have to prove it. Yes, you got to prove it.
And at some point they got to prove it. They didn't prove it against. They didn't prove it against Steph when they had the chance when they was up 2-1. They didn't prove it against Jimmy last year, and I don't think they're gonna prove it this year. I'll be far hard pressed because I think
I was just unfortunate after like last season. That was I hate injuries, man. And the reason why I hate injuries is because it adds to the narrative of what it could have been. Like I'd much rather. So, for example, in 2020, when the Miami Heat ended up losing to the Lakers. like Jimmy going up against LeBron James. Like there were no injuries there. Like you and I are going to get it on, and we're going to match wits. I never thought that Jimmy Butler was better than him, but the fact that I don't have to use that, well, buckets got hurt. I don't have to use that. And I hate that when stuff like that happens, because when stuff like that happens, now that comes into it. I'd much rather it be, yo, he was just better than you. And I got to see it, as opposed to, yo, you got hurt during that time. Same thing with Joel Embiid. I would much rather just see him be healthy and he either outperforms a guy or he gets outplayed, as opposed to he's been beat up again. I just hate that. I hate to have to talk about it.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned 2020, because in that particular series, I sought out everything else around Jimmy Butler versus LeBron, because I didn't see it as clearly just that. What I also saw is that AD was actually at the 4, and Dwight Howard had the 5-man responsibilities, much like which was one of the reasons why you go back to that year is they handled Denver easily, because the thing is, when you got a Dwight Howard that has the know-how of still playing defense at a pretty decent level at that age, and AD could be, roam around and then just play the power forward spot and have all the advantages offensively. To me, that's what made the difference. And then Rondo coming in and making a difference in that playoff run, and all the other players. They had KCP, who just so happened to win a championship last year with the Denver Nuggets. You had Danny Green. A lot of things came in. So when it comes to the totality of winning a championship, you the main one. And I always go back to what you tell me. Hey, a lot of things got to go right. A lot of things got to go your way. Well, the players around you, they got to do their jobs too. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you just said.
So if that's the case, then why are we putting all of the things? This is the problem that I have with this conversation, because if that's the case, then why are we putting it all on one guy? The reason why we're putting it all on one guy is because you are the best player on the team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some stuff got to go your way. I can definitely get with that. But one of the main reasons why we're here is because of you. One of the main reasons why we are in this position, and why we talk about, when we talk about this team the way we talk about this team, is because of you. And because of you, we could win or lose. And if you don't perform, even if the other guys around you do, it's going to be on you. And if you do perform and the other guys around you also perform, but this other team was just better, then I much rather have that conversation. Bird and Magic proved that to me.
Right.
Bird and Magic proved that to me, as opposed to, you got hurt or you didn't do your job, but the rest of your guys did their job. I'd much rather have a conversation. Everybody did their job. He was just better than you. I'd much rather have that conversation.
I listen, I would rather have that conversation, but the truth of the matter is this, and your boy JT, he said this a couple of weeks ago when they won the game and he didn't play that well. He said, yo, thank God I got a team that's willing to pick up for me, man, because I stunk tonight. I don't know what game that was.
It was against Phoenix. He was garbage.
Yeah, it was against Phoenix. Yeah. So the thing is, I've always said coming into this year, I said there are no more bad playoff games for JT and JB, and the Celtics are just winning. I might have been wrong about that, because when I'm looking at the rest of the East, and then when I look back at that Phoenix game and I look at the rest of the East, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, a lot of these dudes around them, this team is damn good. This team is damn good. Not good. They are damn good. And with Jrue Holiday doing his job, with Porzingis coming up the way he did, and with JB and all the other players, JT, and I said, I'm like, there's no way JT could afford to have bad games and they win. Well, guess what? When they were up 2-1 in the finals, he was not having good games, and they were winning. So the thing is, bro,
they won one game. They won one game that he had a bad game. That was it. One.
Which game was that? That was game 1.
Game 2.
No. They won game 1. Remember, they won game 1 against Golden State.
I just remember that whole series, and the fact that I'm talking to you about Golden State, a guy who was in year 5, going up against a dude who's seasoned. Jason Tatum is not beating Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not going to allow that. He's not.
Okay.
He is not. Give me a break with that, Leaf. He's not, man.
Okay,
you said
year 5. Remind ourselves, Steph Curry did win a championship in year 5.
6. Year 6.
09 and
09, 10,
2015.
10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15.
All right, year 6. Okay, all right. So, all right,
year
so fine. Year 6. But listen,
right.
The point I'm trying to make is this. I think, listen, you already said, bro, like me and you both agree. This Boston team is damn good. They are
I think they're the best team in the league. I do.
They are damn good. So my thing is that when they fall into these spots where they start leaning on jump shots and they don't execute and they don't focus on how they got leads and how they dominated in the first place, this is where the better teams come in and they start to be like, Mazzulla, what is Mazzulla doing? Oh, no, I know how to fix this. This is what Spoelstra is doing, because we all agreed that he got out coached. So the thing is about like you said, you can only X and O you for a certain amount of time, but at the same time, JT and JP has not asserted themselves outside of the X's and O's enough to lift the Celtics to the heights that they need to be lifted to. Can you agree with that?
I'll be glad when they do this shit, boy, because this conversation.
You'll be glad when they do it. That way, when I show up to your page, or you can show up to my shit, and then you can be like,
I'll just be glad. I won't even, to be honest with you, Leaf, I won't even talk about it, because it's one of those things that we could be done talking about it. We could, because that's what it is right now. All this is right now is you can't get it done. And this is a theme that's over and over and over.
But we got to point out reasons why they can't get it done. I think the reasons that I mentioned to you is clear. If you can't agree with the lack of constant execution, this is what the Nuggets did last year. They executed one of the best half-court sets we seen in years. They executed, found mismatches. Aaron Gordon.
Leaf, let me ask you a question. Am I and what I'm doing right now is I'm talking to you man to man. Am I betting on the wrong horse?
I think so.
I'm being honest with you. Am I betting on the wrong horse? What am I looking at? What do I not see? And I've been watching basketball for a long ass time.
Yes.
Why am I looking at these dudes? Why I'm looking at them? What am I missing here? What am I missing?
What you're missing is the permanent lack of execution and stretches of games, man, where you can take advantage of a little stuff. Like, you don't got to take over all the time. I think this is what the Nuggets figured out. They figured out, we could execute against these teams. We could do this against that team. Now, and in the case of the Lakers, Jamal Murray was just hitting a lot of shots. Like, Joker was hitting a lot of shots. I understand that. They obliterated the Lakers. They obliterated them, bro. Like, just permanently executed them out of the game. But they stuck to the plan of constantly executing. Yeah, Joker could take over here.
So they out-executed. So they were better than the Lakers because they out-executed them.
They out-executed them.
So you feel like you can out-execute the Boston Celtics.
Do I feel like you can?
And ultimately, I want to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. Watching this Boston Celtic team, ultimately, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown don't have enough to overcome being out-executed, because you could get out-executed and still win because you can be more talented. Yes. But ultimately, when you are executing, when we execute and you execute, we're just better. So with that being said, you're telling me this is what you're telling me. You're telling me that this Boston Celtic team, not only can we out-execute them, we can out-talent them too.
No, you can't out-talent them.
Now, and I'm not talking about the other dudes. No, I'm not talking about them other dudes. I'm talking about specifically Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think that not only can we out-execute them, we can also outplay those two guys.
I mean, it's been proven that Miami proved it.
So I'm betting on the wrong horse then. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm betting on the wrong horse.
You might, but listen,
I'm only telling.
Hold on, wait. And before I go, I'm only telling you, bro, as a sense of concern, because me and you talk, man, and we having good conversation. The thing is, my thing is that I think JT and JB, they've tried to take over games where the X's and O's are out. Because the thing is, you said something yourself. You said, yo, hey, against Golden State, yo, we going to you. JT, we going to you. The ball is going to you. Get it done. Yo, you got Curry in front of you. Yo, go dominate. We need you to dominate. He didn't do that. You said to JT, yo, we going to you. Yo, Jimmy Butler is on fire. What are you going to do? We said this repeatedly. The thing is, bro, you could go look at the Bulls. They had talent when they got the X's and when they got the execution, that triangle. That was it. It was over. You know that. You know that for a fact.
That was in year 7.
Yeah. So when they got the triangle mastered, like to a T, it was over. You know that.
So the Celtics, what don't they have mastered?
They don't have. All right, they don't have, the 3 ain't working. We need you to get something in between areas. We need you to late in the games. We need you to get something in between areas. Let's face it, JT is still shooting threes when he gets rattled. Look at the games that they lost. I just want you to pay attention to the losses. How did they lose these games? How did JT not perform against the Suns? And they won that game. Just pay attention to JT and JB late in games and how they move further and further away from the in-between areas that you talked about, that I agreed on that they needed to go to. Just pay attention to those. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, but one more thing before you leave. Before I leave, listen. I think we put to bed this Michael Jordan don't have a left shit. That chick I put to bed. Now, as far as the 90s, as far as being done with the 90s, notice that never came out of my mouth. As far as being done with the 90s, I don't think it's the 90s that you're done with. I think it's the 80s and 90s rules that you're done with. Because instead of no, and I'm explaining. Instead of dribbling the ball like this, they had to dribble the ball like this. Notice Magic Johnson was dribbling the ball like this every time he lit a fast break. There wasn't no such thing as hezzy tweens and step backs and side steps back then. You know why? Because the shit was illegal.
Yeah. Well,
it was illegal.
I tell you what, Leaf. I'm really interested to get to the playoffs because I want to get to the bottom of this. I do.
Oh, okay.
I really do. I want to get to the bottom.
All I'm gonna tell you is everything that I told you about the Denver Nuggets when the finals started last year. Tell me what lie I told. They execute and move off the ball. You tell me a lie that you found me told, and you could go look back at all those videos. They all on tape. I go back and look at
we definitely gonna see. All right, Leaf. I gotta go.
Definitely gonna see.
Good to talk to you. Absolutely. What up, Jay?
Can you hear me, Chill?
Yeah, you hot. What's up, brother?
First of all, OG, I love your opinions. I love your channel, man, and also I love how chill you are giving your name. So I want to say that right there. Let me just let that out right there.
Thank you.
And I want to correct something that the brother was on before. The Celtics don't have a weakness like they did last year. Their home games, they were terrible at. They let a lot of wins slip through in their home court. That's not the case this year. So let's just keep that a buck. So that weakness is completely gone. They have interior presence with Porzingis. They fixed that. I heard Ticket talk about that last year on Player's Choice. What they needed was a big on the inside because they only play one way, and that is to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
That's not smart. But with Tatum, Brown, and shout out to Derek White. I like Derek White. I think low key he might be like he's a current menace that I like on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He comes through in clutch moments, like really, like you know how you say Jimmy Butler does the small things. I think Derek White does those small things for that team that can be in the moment. They're big, but it's like a little tip, like what he did last year to put the tip in so they could try to bring it to a game 7, things like that. I think they have enough weapons, enough in their arsenal to win a chip. So I don't think, like I said, I don't think that weakness is so much there anymore like it was last year. Because, like I said, they've only lost 12 or 13 games. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've only lost 13 games, right?
14, I think. I think they've lost
14?
Yeah.
That's still nothing to me.
13 or 14 games that they've lost. That's it, though.
Yeah, that's nothing to me.
They're on pace to win 65 games this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on pace.
That's nothing to me.
They're on pace to win 65 games this year. So,
and so you're not betting on the wrong horse. Yeah, I don't think you're betting on
I-
our horse personally.
I think that the
don't
issue
think
that I
you are.
have, and I think that what bothers me the most when I hear, because like I said, I've been watching basketball a long time. I have yet to hear people talk about those championship teams in the past like they talk about the Celtics.
Right.
That Houston Rockets team, so we clear, the year that they won the NBA championship, just so you know, Jay, the year before that, they didn't make the playoffs. They wasn't talking about Olajuwon like that. They were not. They were not talking about Olajuwon like that. And Olajuwon, by the way, he had missed the playoffs the year before. He had also missed the playoffs the year before that and got bounced by the Lakers in 91. Smoked in the playoffs. They was not talking about Olajuwon like that. We were not talking about him like that. So when I think about, and that's, again, that's years ago. Even the Golden State Warriors, we wasn't talking about them like that. James, when they went to the NBA Finals in 2012, we wasn't talking about him like that. This Boston Celtic team with Jason Tatum specifically, I have never heard this kind of narrative on a guy that's been on a team this good. Never. I've never heard this.
To me, you know what it comes off across. I think it comes off as incompetence, and also them trying to push a narrative to try to gaslight a young player who's really talented. Like I said, I like Tatum, I really do. He has things in his bags that separate him from others, and I think with all the time he's had, this should be the year where he shows you, like, I got that dog in me that's bigger than Jimmy Butler's. If people want to crown him for that I can actually get a chip with this team. Like, my man, Jaylen Brown, right. Derek White, Porzingis. I can get it done. They can get it done this year.
Right.
Now, but I will say this, because listen, I put it on any star player. I have to, because I'm going to be I'm consistent with that with me. Tatum, you got to be that guy in every game. At least. And here's what I mean by that. You can't waver in your resolve and that fortitude, and you need to have that killer instinct to be like, listen, if we can't get this basket, let me score it and let me get it done. Like I said, these guys, if what he said is true in the interview, in that little post-game interview that he had a few days ago, if these guys have my back, then I need to have theirs. And I need to put this team on my shoulders, and I need to get it done. I think, like I said, I don't think he has a lack of confidence. I just think that he needs a better resolve. That's all. Like I said, because remember you said that it's not in their. Not you. Ticket said it's not in their DNA to, not get to the finals and not get it. And you said that they did. I agree with you. If they got there before, they can do it again. But I think what's needed really is you need to go through a bad loss and then come back stronger the next year. He did that last year. With that, taking something a team they should have beat in the game 7. Even though Jimmy was injured, regardless of all that, they said, like, okay, we got to make up for last year because there's no reason why we should have lost. That's what Tatum and that whole team needs to watch last year's playoffs and realize how bad they were against that team. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Mazzulla had that tape to remind them, that's how bad you guys were. That's how incoherent we were. Use this as motivation to get the chip this year. Because trust me, when you lose like that, it will motivate you to not make slip-ups again. Right. So I think Tatum and that team knows that. Like I said, they're set up to succeed this year. I can't see how they, unless it's Denver, that's the only team I can see. What I said in the chat earlier, super chat earlier, I said Denver's the only team I can see, but also Denver has to win 4 games against them. It's going to me, that's a battle of attrition. That's at least a 7-game series, a final series in my mind, because to me, Boston can get the jump on them if like I said, if everything is going right for them. Right. Like I said, the weaknesses aren't there anymore. Like I said, the Celtics are talented.
I don't think that, to be honest with you, I don't think that there's any reason why they shouldn't win it. I don't.
Right.
And I look at this unit and I'm thinking to myself, where is all of this coming from? Sure, the guy has been inconsistent, but has it been? I mean, I know we talked about Because now I'm thinking to myself, yo, do I remember guys in the playoffs when I was coming up, how these guys still didn't perform in the playoffs, or they were wildly inconsistent in the playoffs? I mean, Jason Tatum, he would have a 19, he would have a 30-point game, a 27-point game, a 25-point game, a 27-point game, then a 14-point game. But then he'd go 30, 31, 28, 25, 26, then a 17-point game. Okay, I get that part. I definitely get that part. Right. Yeah. I get, and that's what was going on last year. But when I look at the course of this, when I look at the course of his unit, like, they ain't going that far without him. They're not getting where they got without him. No way are they getting there without him. So I don't disagree with that. Yeah. I feel like this unit, I am really ready for the playoffs to start, because I want this narrative shut down. To be honest with you, it's not that I want it shut down. I just don't want to talk about it no more. I really don't. I want to talk about other stuff about them instead of, yo, this dude just ain't good enough. This dude just can't get it done. I'm tired of talking about that. I'm tired of it. I am. Yeah, but I do know, I know for a fact that until you win, this is what it is. This is exactly what it is.
It's going to be the narrative around. It's going to be the narrative that he has around him, and also it's. I'll be saying this. It's very unwarranted that Tatum has to take all this. To be honest, and yes, he is this super. I consider him a superstar. I don't care what anyone says.
I do too.
My friend would debate me heavily. He's just a high-end player. That's why I disagree with him. That's why I said, because I actually wanted to win the chip to shut my friend up. I need to shut him up, because I think Tatum is the star that we think he is. Like I said, once he wins it, that should shut everybody up. He doesn't need to win 2 or 3. He needs to win 1, and that'll shut everybody up about him. Because, like I said, he shouldn't be getting ridiculed or cooked like this. We cook KD a lot because KD goes to super teams and tries to force them and gets rid of about a third of the team. But at least with Jason Tatum, he produces. And like I said, he's been to the finals before. I think they're gonna go this year. And honestly, like I said, and to anybody who's a Miami Heat fan and whatever, I don't think that. Listen, I think that Celtics stumped them. I'm gonna be real. I think they stomp them this year, or if the Heat even make it in. I think, like I said, their only comp, honestly, is maybe the Knicks, maybe, and I think Celtics sweep them too, easily. I'm gonna say,
all right, Jay, easily. Good to talk to you, brother. You know where to find me at.
All right, brother, man. You take care, okay?
Max 456. I'm so tired of that logic, man. Damn, he had a super team when he walked in the door. Kyrie Irving missed the last 16 games of the season and the entire playoffs. He's going to the Eastern Conference Championship with Jay Crowder, Marquise Morris, Al Horford. That is not a super team. That's not. Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart. That's not a super team. That's just not true, man. That's not true. That is not true.
Can you hear me? Hello?
What up?
Chill. I think the arguments that people are making that the C's might not get it, I feel like they're really outdated. And the reason I'm saying they're outdated is because most of the arguments that I see nowadays is, well, the best, the Celtics aren't going to win because the other team has a better player. But we've seen in the playoffs before Tatum actually closed series out against a team where their best player was better than him. He did it against Milwaukee. He closed the series out against Milwaukee in Game 6. When he went to Game 6, they were in Milwaukee, in the Milwaukee Bucks stadium, and he goes for almost 50 and 10 to force a Game 7. Hello?
I'm with you. I'm still talking. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
Okay. So he almost goes for 50 and 10 and then plays, and then he goes off in Game 7 as well to win the series. So I think that most of these arguments, they're kind of outdated. Like, we have seen him be the man and, win series before, force his team into deep postseason runs. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think is going to happen in this postseason?
I'm tired of hearing it. I'm just tired of having this conversation, man. I'm tired of it. I just am. I'm so sick of having this conversation. I want to talk about the playoffs. I don't want to talk about Jason Tatum's mishaps. I don't want to talk about what Jason Tatum has to do. I don't want to talk about that. And the reason why I don't want to talk about that is because I've seen him perform in the postseason, and I've seen this Boston Celtic team do incredible things. I've seen them do that. So I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of it. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm tired of talking about this. What up, Amari? What's up, brother? What's going on? Did I lose him? I had him, then I lost him. I'm just tired of having this conversation, man. I've never been around, and I've watched the NBA for a long time. Even when Bird and Magic were playing, when Jabbar was playing, when Jordan was playing, there was never the conversation with Jordan, yo, Jordan just ain't good enough, or Jordan can't get it done. It was always next year. That was always the case with him. Next year. And he's had and Jordan had some inconsistent games, but it was never, yo, you just ain't good enough. Imagine him playing today and losing 3 straight years to a team. 3 straight. 3 straight years he lost to a team. 3 straight. The logic on him would be completely different. I'm not saying that it would be different. It would be completely different. And before we go any further, this dude in the chat, you see, Rock Smith, that was my first Biddy basketball coach. Rock raised me. I just want to, so for all of you guys in here that don't know, this dude, Rock Smith, if you was looking for me, I was not hard to find. I was at the Jersey City Boys Club. And this dude right here, Rock Smith, raised me. He was my first Biddy basketball coach. He was the one who opened up the gym. Right? He was the one who opened up the gym. Not only did he open up the gym, he was the one who let me in the gym. He was the one who let me stay in the gym. He was the one who let me stay around. Rock raised me. Of all the people that have been influential in my life, of all the people that have helped me get to where I was trying to go, Rock is at the top of that list. Rock I've known since I was 10 years old. Rock is one of the original guys who advanced my game. Rock is my man. That's my dude forever. Absolutely, he was. No doubt about it. What up?
What up, Chill? Can you hear me?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, I agree with your sentiments about the Celtics. I think it's time. We'll see what they do in the playoffs, and then we'll make our assessments on Tatum at this point. He's been as successful as he can for the last 7 years. He's been in the playoffs every year of his career. So I think we can give some of him the benefit. I think it's overblown personally, but we kind of move on. But I did want to ask you a question because I heard this the other day. And it's about efficiency. And I don't want to go into it too far, but they're talking about Wemby. And they're talking about him being 7'6", and his field goal percentage from the field. They say it's too low. They feel like he should be closer to the basket. They don't care about his skills being 7'6" and being able to dribble. Do you agree with that? Because there's a part of me that also agrees that there is efficiency in terms of numbers, but in terms of the way you play and the way you get the spots and the way you get your shots is as important as the numbers that you are producing on the court. It's going to get your feel on that kind of.
Well, it also matters how you're used, right? It also matters as a big guy. And don't get me wrong, Wemby knows as a big guy to dive to the basket. Now the personnel that he has around him, they don't necessarily use him like that, because I think with a better lead guard, with a better passer, he would definitely be more effective. Because I see Wemby running rim to rim, and how many times they miss him, whether he's running to the rim or whether he buries a smaller guy underneath the rim and they don't get him the basketball. I've seen plenty of times that was going on. With that being said, I think the skill set has advanced today, and the bigger guys playing further away from the basket has changed that. But I think Wemby is another one of those guys who utilizes his size. I just don't think that they know how to get him the basketball yet. And one of the biggest issues that I have is that they haven't seen anything like Wemby. I've seen Wemby.
Mm.
I saw
Ralph
Wemby 40 years. I seen Wemby 40 years ago. His name's Ralph Sampson. That's Wemby.
Mhm.
And
But they
Magic
have
knew
the
how to
game.
get in. Magic, Lewis Lloyd, right? Robert Reed. These guys knew how to play with the big guy. These guys don't really know how to play with a big guy because the game's at the long ball line. So they don't really know what to do with Wemby. But I think that San Antonio is going to get some guys in there to show him. They're going to get some guys in there that are able to play with him just a little bit better, as opposed to the guys that they have in there now.
Do you think that big man, a lot of cases, how can this be? There's no more Shaqs. There's guys who are big who just want to be guards. Because I feel like a part of it as well is the fact that the reason why they don't know how to be and how to play with them is because these guys are just big guards and they basically do the same things that they do. So of course they never pass to a 7'4" guy who wants to post because they were trying to do the same things that they were doing in training. So with Wemby, he can do all the skills of a guy who's 6'1", but the problem is he's not 6'1", he's 7'6". So how, as a point guard, am I supposed to do and get him the ball? Say, for example, he's on the perimeter and he has to kind of dive down to the post,
Mhm.
and he doesn't necessarily, he's not a great screener neither. So it's an interesting kind of thing to see that with the players and how they kind of developing as well, especially them getting taller and more skilled, is that it is actually harder for guys who are also equally as skilled as them but smaller to kind of work with them in teams. Because I think with the point guard at the Spurs, Jeremy Shoha, he does miss him a lot, to be honest. Like there's a lot of times he does miss him. But like you said, I don't know if they know what to do with him. And even with Ralph Sampson, for example, he had the key next to him, which helped,
Mhm.
I'm sure,
Right.
a lot. And they got to the finals in '86,
Yes,
if I'm correct.
against the
So
Celtics.
I do find
But they
it
also
interesting.
knew, but they also knew how to play with a big man. I
Yeah,
don't think that these guys know how to play with a big man like Wemby, with the skill set that Wemby has, who can also stretch the defense, but also rim run, also dive in the post. They don't know how to really play with a guy like that, because if they did, they would get him the ball more. They would utilize him in other ways more than they do. As many times,
Yeah.
like I said, when I've seen Wemby run into the rim and he's actually telling them to just throw the ball to the rim, and they won't throw the ball to the rim, not because they're pressured, not because they don't see him. It's because they don't know how, because I've never played with a guy like this. Because I've never played with a guy like this, it's going to make him look worse than what he actually is. When in reality, he's a lot better than what people give him credit for. And I think that what's going to ultimately happen is San Antonio is going to get some guys in here who know how to play with a big guy with that kind of skill set, or just a big guy with the skill set to be around the rim and know where and what spaces to get him the basketball. So, Mari, I got to bounce, brother, but it's good to talk to you. Absolutely,
Thanks, man.
brother. It's good to talk to you, no doubt. I hope you guys are lucky enough in your life to have a Rock Smith, because if you don't, I'm not going to say shame on you, because it's not your fault, but that's too bad. Because when you got a guy who sees something in you, recognizes that you're trying to get somewhere, and he helps you do that, that's a big deal for a young man that's 12, 13, or 11, or 10, 11 years old, that's trying to do something with their lives, even though I don't know exactly where it is I'm going or what I'm doing. But for somebody that age, and somebody to put their arm around me and teach me the ropes, and you're not going to be here, and you're not going to be hanging around these people, and this place, which is the Jersey City Boys Club, this is a safe haven for you. This is where you can hang out, and I'm going to introduce you to this, and I'm going to show you things that are going to help you or give you an opportunity to succeed. If you're lucky enough to have a Rock Smith in your life, utilize them, because not a lot of people are fortunate enough to have that. I was fortunate enough to have Rock Smith in my life, and the fact that I had him, I'm eternally grateful for Rock. I will forever be grateful for Rock Smith in my life. So, fellas, I gotta bounce. It was good to see you guys tonight. I will be back soon. You guys know where to find me. If I'm not here, I'm on the panel. If I'm not on the panel, I'm on Chill with Chill on Wednesdays and Saturdays. If I'm not there, I'm on TikTok in the morning, 9 o'clock. Good Morning NBA. And this is what we're doing. This is exactly what we're doing. I'm not hard to find. I think that I might have missed the super chat. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure that I got all my super chats, because super chats run my show. So I did miss one from Liam Clean. He says people have an agenda against Tatum. He made the teams better. People don't want to say that though. And the reason why they don't want to say that is because he didn't win. That's why, more than anything. If he won, a lot of this narrative about him would be shut down. A lot of this narrative about him would go away if he just won. Because if you think about who he is right now, that's primarily the narrative on him. That's primarily the narrative on him right now. And I don't think that I'm betting on the wrong horse in the wrong race. I do think that he's going to be a champion. I do. I absolutely believe that. So I got to bounce, guys. It's good to see you guys tonight. I will see you soon. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Call your mother. Call your mother. She's waiting on you. Call your mother. Yes, this year, Mark Wavian. Call your mother. It's good to see you guys. I'll see you soon.